Most men believe women stay with toxic guys because of weakness, because they're naive, brainwashed, or simply too emotional. That's wrong. The truth is far darker, far more biological, and far more advantageous for the man who understands it. Women don't stay with toxic men by accident. They stay because of a predictable neurological loop, one that's been wired into the female nervous system for thousands of years. And once you understand it, you gain a level of control over your dating life that most men never experience. Today, I'm going to break that loop down for you, piece by piece, signal by signal. What men Al Washington YS miss? Here's the mistake men make. You think women choose based on logic, based on lists, morals, or their type, but female psychology doesn't work like that. Women respond to chemical patterns, not conversations. Their body reacts before their mind does. A man can treat her terribly. He can be inconsistent. He can trigger anxiety, jealousy, emotional spikes, and her nervous system will still fire the same addiction pattern every time he returns. This isn't weakness, it's biology. And this is the part men miss. A woman doesn't stay because she likes the toxic guy. She stays because her body has associated him with emotional intensity. And intensity is often misinterpreted as attraction. The signals aren't in what she says, they're in how her patterns repeat. The triangle of a distortion. If you want to understand why women stay with toxic men, you need to understand the triad of female addiction. 1. Dopamine spikes, the reward uncertainty. The most addictive chemical in the human brain is dopamine, but dopamine isn't released by consistency, it's released by unpredictability. When a man is hot one moment, cold the next, attentive today, distant tomorrow, present for a week, gone the next, her brain doesn't punish him, it chases him. Uncertainty is chemically addictive. 2. Cortisol attachment, stress bonding. Here's the secret no one tells men. Women can form deep emotional bonds during periods of stress. If a man creates emotional highs, but also emotional tension, her body releases cortisol, and cortisol forms what psychologists call a trauma bond. But in female psychology, this often feels like connection. Her system gets confused. Her body doesn't say, "It stresses me." It says, "He matters." 3. Oxytocin distortion, touch redefines everything. Women release oxytocin through physical closeness, especially intimacy. Oxytocin rewires memory. It softens negative experiences. It blurs red flags. This is why a woman can cry about a man on Thursday and be back in his arms on Saturday. Her biology overrides her logic. Once these three chemicals sync, dopamine, cortisol, oxytocin, the woman becomes neurologically anchored to the toxic man. That's the hidden reason. And very few men ever learn this. The secret advantage, what high-value men do differently. Now here's the part that gives you the advantage. The strategic understanding most men will never have. High-value men do not trigger toxic patterns. They trigger evolutionary attraction patterns. Stability without weakness. Masculine presence without chaos. Confidence without neediness. Boundaries without aggression. Because here's the truth. Women don't stay with toxic guys because they want toxicity. They stay because they crave intensity. And they settle for toxicity because they rarely meet a man who can give them intensity without destruction. When you provide intensity through purpose, certainty, mystery, ambition, leadership, emotional control, you provide the same spark, but without the pain. And that makes you far rarer, far more desirable, and far more difficult to replace. Listen, if you re a man who Washington NTS an advantage, if you're a man who wants to understand the deeper psychology of women, not the surface level advice, not the cliches, but the biological reality, then subscribe, because every video I make pulls you deeper into the psychological signals that most men cannot see. I'm giving you tools, knowledge, leverage, use it, reinforcement, the ultimatum. You now understand why women stay with toxic men. You see the patterns, the signals, the hidden biology most men never notice. choices. But here's your ultimatum. You either learn these dynamics or you stay frustrated. You either master the psychology or you stay confused when women choose chaos over comfort. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the rules of a game that's been running for thousands of years and choosing whether you want to play blind or play with advantage. The choice is yours.